Hello, everybody. It's Alex Ihama. As we continue this series on systemic racism, as you know, these are mainly educational videos to empower people, to bring to light information that will help people to cope with this concept of racism that is destroying the universe, if you will. Like it's wanting to focus on the environment, global warming, and things like that. But racism, factually, is one of the most destructive invention of man. So in today's episode, and I really hope you've seen the first and the second and the third and the previous episode, because they are series. You want to make sure you don't take what I say out of context. So it's always good to go back and watch the previous episode, because these are series and they are going to keep going for a little while. Today's episode is the origin of race. The origin of race. You'll be amazed to know that race, there is no scientific, biological, natural, or even religious backing to the concept of race. I say that again, this is very important. There is no scientific, biological, natural, or religious backing for the concept of race. Race was invented just like a telephone was invented, right? Many things were invented. People also say religion was invented, right? So politics was invented. So these are all inventions. Inventions are not only physical. In fact, the most powerful, either negatively powerful or positively powerful, the most powerful inventions are concepts. They are not necessarily items, they are concepts. And racism is a concept that was invented. What they brought that to do was literally to combine people of different ethnicities and group them for economic and political reasons. And people will add social construct as well. So the terminology white, like if I have lots of white friends. If I ask them and say, why do they refer to you as white and to us as blacks? They will often say, well, because you have dark skin and because I have light skin. So I'm white and you're black. Wrong, my friend. That is not the basis of it. That's what you see, and that's what a lot of people think and believe. That's not what you see. Remember, these are inconvenient truth. These are series for us to, and you can do your research. I give you some places to do your research, but do your own research. I'm not here to bash any philosopher or any politician or anybody around. I'm here to bring the truth to light. The terminology white was constructed back in the 1700s. You'll be amazed. Go do your research, right? So what happened was when the Western Europeans were coming to North America, right? I'm here in Toronto, Canada. When they were coming to North America, and they wanted to take over the land, right? So there were the indigenous people, and there were blacks, and there were all this. So, and they felt outnumbered, right? Remember, back in Europe, they were either the Dutch or the Polish or the English, right? That's really how they identify themselves, right? Some even confused nationality for ethnicity, so which is again another topic for another day. But the essence was when they now came here, they found out that, okay, if we the French, we the English, we the Dutch, and we the Deutsch, the Germans, if we decide to do our things differently and separately, these people are unified and they will outrun us, they will outnumber us, and they will defeat us, right? Remember that they were defeated back in Haiti, even back then. So what they did was they now came together and said, well, we are white. Like that's how white came about, right? So we are from Western Europe, we are white. Now keep in mind that the Irish were not allowed to be white. The Jews were not allowed to be white. The Italians were not allowed to be white. I know Europe very well. It's not what I studied in history. I've lived there. I know the culture. Like I know what's going on in Europe. I'm very vast on that. There are still racism against white to white. Like, like the Swiss would never allow, when there was war in Yugoslavia, they would not allow the Yugoslavians come in. They were racist against them. They were like, these are inferior white people. Yes, the French will call the Polish inferior white people. All these things going on with EU, European Union, Britain wanting to separate and all that. It's all finds its root in racism, right? So they now came up with white. Let me read. One of the research I found. I believe this really captures it. It says the term white was defined as anyone without a drop of African or Indian blood. The category white was created as a political construct that was used as an organizing tool to unite Europeans in order to consolidate strength, increase their ability to maintain control and dominance over the Native Americans and African slaves, which in many places outnumbered the Europeans. Go do your research, and it's quite amazing what you'll find. Whiteness is a political, listen to this, whiteness is constantly shifting boundary, separating those who are entitled to have certain privileges, which are the white privileges we talk about today, from those whose exploitation and vulnerability to violence is justified by their not being white. This is amazing. Everybody should know about this. And this is something you want to share with everybody. Listen, there's a man, and with all due respect, I mean, we should all do this. I make a lot of effort doing this research to keep my judgment to myself, But there's a man called Frederick Farrar in 1866, wrote a book or an article, then you just write a paper called The Aptitude of Races. And he was a cleric in the Church of England, a pallbearer in Charles Darwin's funeral, and actually gave a speech at that funeral, the Dean of Canterbury Cathedral. Now, the reason I say that is this was a religiously, highly respected religious relic, a cleric in the world, certainly in the UK, in England, but in the world. And he wrote an article, The Aptitude of Races, and he actually said there are three kinds. The first kind are the savage, and under the savage are black people. Right? Under the savage are black people. He called me a savage. He calls me a savage, right? And today, many of the greatest inventions on the planet are by black people as much as by white people as well. Go do your research on that. He called us a savage. Indigenous people and black people and Africans, he called them black, savage. So that's where it comes from. So when you call me black, you're calling me a savage. I am not black. I am African. It's true. I have never liked the terminology, right? There's black market. Anything that is bad is considered black. When the market crashes, it's called Black Friday, Black Monday. Why is it not called white? Even if that day there were lots of snow, why is it not called White Sunday or White Saturday, right? There's lots of snow. You know what I'm talking about? This is where it came from. This guy called Africans and indigenous people savages, black. And he called the Chinese semi-civilized, right? I'll leave that for another topic. I want to keep this video short. And then he called white people of European descent civilized, white. And remember, his book is based on another book by Charles Darwin, which was published in 1859. His paper was published in 1866. In 1859, Charles Darwin published a book, which many of us will know, Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. And here's what Charles Darwin said. In fact, the whole book is based on this. The weak die off and the strong survive. The weak die off and the strong survive. Keeping in mind that the slaves were kept down. So people saw them as weak, even though they were kept down, right? Remember, if you even want to look at the terminology weak, the reason the Europeans were excited to discover Africa and the Africans were because of our stamina. Like naturally, our bones are strong. Naturally, like of course there are Indians, are white and Chinese who are, but naturally because of our continent, the continent of Africa, we are stronger. Look at Mike Tyson. Look at Muhammad Ali. Look at all the boxers. Look at them. Look at the athletes. Look at all of this. I mean, look at who's winning the marathons. Right, the Africans, this. Look at it, even in the Caribbean, Usain Bolt and stuff. So that is not disputable. So we have that, but we are not savages, though. We are not savages, not even close. So Darwin said, "This the weak die off and the strong survive," and this has been used to justify racism. It has been used to justify genocide. Right? In fact, Hitler, the Nazis based their philosophy on this. So you see, the issue of race is demonic, if you will, destructive, completely. They should be teaching this in schools. Everybody should know this, not to create hate, but to build unity, to build togetherness, to build love. Come on, right? So today, when you see some of those police who were shooting black people in the back because of a ticket or because they try to run away or something, unarmed people, when you say and they go, "Oh, I feel threatened," you know. So, all right. So this is it. These are factuals. Yeah, and you can go. In fact, there's a concept. Before I end this short video, there's a concept you must know about called the eugenics. Eugenics was the effort to reproduce, people with superior genes, and then sterilize those with genes they consider to be inferior. So you'll be amazed to know that millions of women were sterilized legally in the US and all over the world, legally though in the US and all over the world, certainly in UK and all these places, because they considered us inferior. So when you have white supremacists, they didn't just spring up. These are things that were taught to them in school. What is going to conquer racism? There are a lot of things that is going to conquer it. The very first one is education, and that's why we're putting up this series. The very first one is education. It was Alvin Toffler once said, the illiterates of the 21st century are not going to be those who can't read and write, but those who cannot unlearn, relearn and learn. That's what it's going to be. Are you learning? And I really, really hope this series are helping you. You want to, when you understand this, I mean, there's another book I'll give you a reference by Robert Knox. It's called The Race of Man. These are demonic philosophy. These are destructive philosophy. And he wrote, people of color are inferior to blacks and indigenous and Asians. In fact, he concluded that we could be killed without impunity. Like literally, kill them, and nothing happens. Kill them, officer, kill them. Is what's happening today. They're still killing us today. Oh my God, have mercy. Have mercy. They're still killing us today, right? So, in fact, in this 1700s, they even concluded, some religious people concluded that we don't have a soul. Black, it says Africans don't have a soul. They will have no soul. So you can do what you want with us, just like a dog, right? So, and these are mindset that has been passed for generations in different lineage. So we have been told we're inferior, right? They won't let us drink water from the same tap with the Europeans. They won't let us attend the same school. It's still happening. It's still happening, right? I mean, I have lots of stories, personal stories, so not what I read, right? When I used to date a white woman then long time ago, like I will go and she used to work in a store, in an upscale clothing store. So I'll park my car in the parking, and I'll walk into the store and just walk around, smile to her, give her little smiles, and go, which telling her I'm outside in the car. And she says her boss will come and say, there's one black man always coming here. I think he's a thief. He wants to steal. Make sure whenever he comes in, you have the cameras on him. Tell the security to follow him all the time. And yet, she was talking to my girlfriend. Right, she was talking to my girlfriend. So we went to Hard Rock Cafe in Paris. They won't let us in because I'm African and she's European. So It's going on. It's going on, right? So watch some other videos to get lots of examples and stories that I hope really inspire you to begin to watch how you think when it comes to ethnicity. So instead of race, frankly, what is actually more accurate is ethnicity, right? Ethnicity is a terminology to for people of common ancestry, traditions, and dialects. So ethnicity, so ethnic group um, is certainly not the same as race. Race is a political construct. Ethnic group, you can find biological proof to support that. Like I just told you, people of African descent, they are proven to have resilience and tenacity and passion. You know what I'm talking about? Passion. Like as a professional speaker, I'm aware of that. When I am speaking to a group of all people of European descent, if you will, not white, European descent, right? There are ways I manage my message to ensure that it finds its way into their heart, right? And then when I'm in Africa speaking, or I'm in Jamaica, like I've been all around the world, literally, it's what I do. I was born to do this, right? And so I manage it. So I'm very conscious even when I'm speaking to people, if they invite me to speak to maybe predominantly people from India, right? Which I have, I learn their culture and I'm able to deliver my message. So same message, if I deliver it to people of European descent, deliver it to people of South Asian or Asia, deliver it to people of African descent, different. I deliver them differently. In fact, what I'm doing right now is, I'm going like that. If I was to deliver this for a pure people of 80-90% African, or people 80-90%, there are ways to deliver this. What's my point? My point is we're different, right? We should learn to celebrate these differences. We should learn to manage the differences. We should learn to leverage the differences in ethnicity to ensure that we live in peace, live in harmony, and live in unity. Before I let you go, I'll give you another name. These people, frankly, history is judging them right now. So it's not me. History is judging them. There's, Charles Murray and Richard Einstein. They wrote a book called The Bell Curve: Intelligence and Class Structure in the American Society. You will be amazed that even as far as recent, Mayor Giuliani of the New York, right? He actually used this book to form some of his policies. And yet the conclusion of this book is poverty is caused by inferior genetics. What is inferior genetics? Like, help me understand what is inferior genetics. And yet they used this book, published in 1990, to formulate policies in New York. And you wonder why the police shoot people in the back. It's based on this. It's based on complete abject ignorance, completely abject ignorance, right? Way back in the day, they could use religion and science to defend that we are savages, right? Because they never gave us clothes. They never sent us to school. They never taught us things on how to survive in their society. We were like, they brought us from the continent and brought us down here, of course, my ancestors, and brought us down here, and then they call us savages. Like, yet you never give us suit. Did you ever give us suit to wear? Did you put a tie on us, right? When we started having access to those, even though we literally have that to die. Martin Luther King had to die. People like that have to die for younger African descent to have the right. Well, here we are. We are not savages. We're intelligent. We're smart. We're talented. We're loving. We're kind. Come on, somebody. You'll be amazed to know that, of course, interracial marriage between African descent and European descent was a crime from in the 1800s, 1900s. Alabama just struck that out in the year 2000. No, I'm not saying in the year 18, in the year 19, no, in 2000. In 2000, yes, they just struck it out. And I can guarantee you, those things still exist in places and nobody's talking about them. Again, it's Alex Ihama. We're doing this under the umbrella of, we have a couple of organizations. We have International School of Greatness, 200,000 students in 45 nations. We have the corporate university where we teach corporate programs. And we've had the honor of teaching this program, not just this leadership. I have books I've written, Mystique of Leadership, Welcome to Greatness. I've been fortunate to do management consulting, leadership workshop for executives in some of the big banks, not just here in Toronto, Canada, but in the US, across the world, around the world, really. Stock exchange. So we do lots of program. Look us up. Look us up. The Corporate University.ca. Perhaps we'll be certainly will be willing to facilitate some of these programs or series on systemic racism or any other leadership or management program that you want us to facilitate for your organization. It's Alex Ihama. Take this video right now and share it with everybody you care about, right? It's done out of love, no political motivation, no hate, zero. My heart is pure. Those who know me know. Much love to you, whether you are European descent, African descent, doesn't matter to me. You're human, and I love you. God bless.